Hello, this is Belinda Lowe. I am going to present my Action Research Project Implementation Report with Assessment Monitoring presentation. First of all, my problem of practice. I came back to teaching after many years in 2022, and one of the first things I noticed was the very bad writing habits of the students. I noticed bad grammar, no capitalization, no punctuation, and scattered ideas. My initial observations were supported by the data. The 2023 milestones test, only 39.1% of Georgia's 7th graders performed on grade level in language arts, which of course is the foundation for writing. In those 7th graders, only 5% of ESOL students performed on grade level in language arts. And I'm an ESOL teacher at Red Top Middle School. The access test for ELs also supported that there is a problem and weakness in writing. If you look at the bottom, 19.1% scored 4 or higher on the overall composite score for English learners. So that would show that they are definitely approaching proficiency in English, but only 6.7% of ESOL students scored 4 or higher on the writing portion of the access test. So this shows that even students who are becoming more proficient in English are still scoring really low on the writing portion of the test. So here's my problem. My 7th grade ESOL class needs to improve in writing. What could help? So I came up with this as my research question. What is the effect of playing learning games on the writing skills of 7th grade ESOL students at Red Top Middle School? My hypothesis was that playing games will have a positive effect on the writing skills of 7th grade ESOL students at Red Top Middle School. So here's the approach I took to solve the problem, to implement my intervention. First, I chose specific writing skills to target. Then I needed to create a game to reinforce those writing skills. I needed to take a pre-test for a writing sample. I needed to teach mini lessons for the skills that would be needed, to play the game, to reinforce those skills, and then do a post-test to evaluate the effectiveness of the game. So here are the specific writing skills that I chose to target. I chose 3 different categories. For mechanics, I chose paragraph indentation, capitalization of sentences and proper nouns, and punctuation. And you do need to notice the color coding because it goes along with the game. So mechanics is blue. Next is for grammar, I just chose subject-verb agreement, which is orange. And then for the writing format, it is just a simple topic sentence, supporting details, and closing sentence, which is green. So those were the specific writing skills to target. Next, the next step was to create a game to reinforce those writing skills. I created a game called MGW, which stands for Making Great Writers, and it goes along with the 3 skills. Mechanics is M, grammar is G, and writing format is W. Here's a picture of the game board. You can see this is a paragraph that has mistakes in it. And then on the side I have mechanics, grammar, and writing format with little tags that can be removed and can stick to the paragraph. So we have indent and capitalization and punctuation over here in mechanics. There's 3 verb agreement mistakes in the paragraph. And then the students have to label the topic sentence, the supporting details, and the closing sentence. You'll notice over here on the side is a game board. This is what makes the game of the game. It's snakes and ladders. Instead of using a spinner, we used a dice, and I colored the die on 2 sides blue, 2 sides orange, and 2 sides green. So when they rolled the die, it would show them one color, and they would have to choose one of these to correct on the board. They would write the correct capitalization, for example, and put it over the word on the paragraph, and then they would be able to move on the game board the number that they rolled. So that was the creating the game. Then we did a pre-test writing sample. You can see this was on the board back in February. This was what I assigned them for the pre-test, to choose a topic and write a paragraph with at least 5 sentences. So it's very simple. Then I taught mini lessons little by little to teach the different skills. And then we played the game. There's some of my boys playing the game. Here's the game board. Here's the place where they do their work on the sentences and the paragraph. So that's the next step in the process. And then at the end, we had the same post-test, even the same prompts that they could use. They could choose different one, of course, but that was the post-test. So that was the problem-solving approach. So here's the progress summary of my project so far. This is the original timeline that I included in my proposal. I'll just point out a few things. My literature review was in October. We turned in the action research proposal in November. December, I had planned to make the game boards, and in January to start playing. I had planned to have a whole week of introducing the different concepts and playing, and then after that to play every Friday as a game day. It didn't exactly go here as planned. Here's the rest of the original plan. That's still January. In February, we have access testing, so I didn't plan to be playing during February, but I did plan at the beginning of every month to do a reevaluation, like the pre-test, and then the post. This would be a mid-test and continue playing, a mid-test, continue playing, and have the post-test in May. But here's the actual timeline and the work tasks that were completed. The literature, of course, review was in October. The action research proposal was in November. I created the game boards in January, and we finished our access test a little early, so we started playing instead of January. We were able to play in February with the pre-test. Then we played the game in March, and we did our interim assessment. And then in April we played, and then we finally did the post-test a couple of weeks ago. So these are the problems I encountered or the changes that I made to my original plan. We did start later than expected. I thought that our counselor was going to be able to join us, but she wasn't able to. I had planned originally to have the whole week to introduce the game and then play on regularly every Friday. That didn't happen. It was a lot more sporadic, but we still had a lot of time to play. I originally planned to have 2 interim assessments before the post-test, but I only had 1. And another thing is that I had planned to play some other writing games along with the MGW game, but we only played MGW because it was a lot longer than I expected. So here are the interim data results. These are the students and how many mistakes they made in their first, in the pre-test, then how many mistakes they made in the interim test, and how many mistakes they made in the post-test. So the total mistakes for the pre-test was 72, total mistakes for the interim was 28, and then the post-test there were 15 mistakes total. You can see the graph. That was the mistakes from the pre-test, and it's way down in the interim and also down in the post-test. So my work task to be done is that I need to continue to analyze the data. I only have it in the rough form right now. So my hypothesis was that playing games will have a positive effect on the writing skills of the 7th grade ESOL students at Red Top Middle School. And according to the interim data results, even though the data has not been analyzed sufficiently, it appears to support the hypothesis. And I put a few of the qualitative data comments from the students. It was fun playing with friends while learning to make good sentences, but moving the animals on the board was a little boring, trying to get to 100 points. Another said, I did like finding where the words go, but it didn't go as fun as I thought it would. And the game is really good to play with friends, but by the time you get to the end, it gets really boring. So you can kind of see a pattern here. I like the game because it teaches you a lot of grammar and how to write, but one thing I don't like is the little game board, which means they didn't like the chutes and ladders part. They just liked the writing part. So that's the